everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Happy Thursday. My name is Liz Pocock. I'm the CEO of Startup Tucson. If this is your first Innovation Economics, welcome. Innovation Economics is a series we launched a few months ago. It's focused on sharing why entrepreneurship is so critical for economic development and what we as a community can do to set startups and entrepreneurs up for success. So each month we invite a different national thought leader to join us and share some of the work that they're doing to support all types of entrepreneurs. We're particularly excited about today because we have Sway Key, who's gonna Dre will give you more of her background, but a topic that's really near and dear to our hearts, music and creatives, and so we're going to learn a little bit more about that space, which we're excited about. So the goal is really to explore these new ideas and use them as inspiration for things that we can do here in Tucson and in Southern Arizona. So if you don't know about Startup Tucson is an economic development organization, nonprofit, that works to support entrepreneurs and startups. We serve approximately 3,000 entrepreneurs a year through educational programming, mentorship, and networking opportunities. Right now, all of that is digital and virtual. So if you haven't joined a program and you're thinking about starting a business, please reach out to one of the members of our team. Sophia is here, Kanisha is here, and Dre is here.
Being in with us on these different series, we've brought data scientists, we've brought tech accelerators folks, we've brought sort of financial folks, and we wanted to really talk about something that's a huge asset to our community, which is our creative community. And sometimes we've seen, working with entrepreneurs, working in tech scenes, creatives are kind of off to the side. They're not always given that full welcome into the entrepreneurial community. We at Startup Tucson believe that creatives are not only just entrepreneurs, but actually essential part of economic development. They're an essential part of what makes Tucson, Tucson. So it's something that we're passionate about. And then also, we played around last year at 10 West with a music accelerator that was super popular. It filled up like that. But we wanted to continue to explore this idea, understand the needs of our creative community. And more than anything, we really wanted to talk to the Motown Accelerator, Motown Music Accelerator. They have been doing this better than anyone else in the world. So we're really excited today to bring you Sway Key. She's actually a performing artist herself, and there she is, hi. She's a performing artist. You've got to check out her music. It is beautiful. I post some on mine. She has a song with Big Sean. I was like, what? Okay. So anyway, check out her music. But she's also the director of this program, the Motown Accelerator. And that's a project between the Tech Town Detroit and also a national accelerator program called Generate. And this program was actually nominated by Fast Company as one of the most innovative companies in the world. And so we are so privileged and honored to have her here today. And really what they've been acknowledged for is their approach of supporting economic development through empowering creative communities and really being able to merge entrepreneurial tech and creatives in a way that is phenomenal and creating huge waves for the artists that participate and for their community, Detroit. So from Detroit, Michigan, Sway Key, we are so glad you are here, and I will hand it off to you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is a pleasure to be here. I have a lot to share with you all. I don't know where to begin. Dre, should I introduce myself, or what do you want me to do first?
Yeah, if you feel there's more to your story, then definitely start with that, and then just tell folks a little bit more about the company. Sway has actually just shared with me that there's some things going on, and we're so privileged that you're here. So so thank you so much for being here too for that.
Yeah, no problem at all. I love talking to people about my work, so this is a great opportunity to do so. And I also love that the leadership here is women. That's refreshing, and I feel very comfortable in this space. I have my shoes off, I have on real pants, but I also have my shoes off. So I feel cozy, and thank you for having me. Like Dre said, my name is Sway Key. I'm born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, filmmaker, and a mother to a 2-year-old little boy. And I I do a lot of things. And one of the things that I'm here to talk about today is Motown Accelerator, which Dre mentioned is, we follow the accelerator model that was, refined for startups, and we're doing it now with recording artists. We are, to our knowledge, the largest accelerator in the nation, being in Detroit, Cleveland, and Milwaukee. And we are each of the cities, Cleveland is our latest city, but everybody else has had at least 2 cohorts under their belts. So we're growing, and we're always changing, and we're always really trying to focus on not only changing these 4 artists who get into the program, changing their lives, but also impacting the larger music communities in these cities. Because, when we support artists, everything just really flourishes from there. I could go on and on, but I would rather talk about, what I came here to talk about today. As Dre mentioned, I do have some personal things going on, so let me pull up my decks. Dre, can you feel for me for like 1 minute while I get those pulled up?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a reminder, Sway is going to do a quick presentation. Liz and I have prepared some questions, but if you will just on the side as she's speaking, as we're asking our questions, just be sure to pop any questions that you have into this sidebar, so that we can be sure to do that and make sure that your questions are answered. And I'm seeing a lot of new folks. Oh, I'm so excited. There's so many new folks. So if you haven't already introduced yourself, definitely do that as well. So yeah.
Again, this is Motown Accelerator, and you have the option to take my email address down if you ever want to reach out to me about anything. I will definitely get back to you. I think this is a great quote from Berry Gordy, and we are in partnership with Motown Museum, with Capitol Records, with Techtown Detroit, with did I say everybody? I think I got everybody. Yeah. And so, the Motown Museum brings to the program what a lot of startup accelerators don't have, and that's history, and legacy. So 60 years ago, Motown came on the scene and has paved the way for so many artists, and is largely why I'm able to sit here and talk about this amazing program today. So I'm sure you can read that while I'm talking, but we are definitely big on history and legacy, and knowing that why we're able to do this has so much to do with Motown and what it did for not only Black music, but just music in general, and how it revolutionized everything after it. So as I said, these are our partners, Generator, and Dre, Abby told me to tell you hi. She said that Arizona was one of the last places she was able to visit before the shutdown, and that you all met. So Generator is the company that provides this programming, and their end of the bargain is programming operations expertise on running an accelerator and staffing. Capitol Music Group, they bring to the table a network of mentors for us to introduce the artists to, and also music industry connections. And they're just the thing that holds all of this together, being such a large group. They can just slip in wherever needed and make those connections for us and really bring everything together. Motown Museum, like I said, history, brand, artist support, credibility, 60 years of amazing music is something definitely, I don't want to say to brag about, but to be proud of. And Techtown Detroit, our ecosystem builder, space provider. When we have our workshops, we do many things in that space. Education connections. Paul Reiser, who's listening right now, has been instrumental not only in helping this program get off of the ground, but continuing to bring funding in and to connect me and the artists with great organizations like yours, and also helping us to manage how that grant money is spent when it comes in from supporters. So the Motown Musician Accelerator, our whole goal is to help musicians through funding and programming achieve greater success in their careers. We are looking to, break out in artists, have somebody just become a household name after having gone through our accelerator, but we also want to continue to just impact the community. Every intake round where we're searching for artists to bring into the accelerator, we get anywhere from 300 to 400 applications. So those are 400 artists who are impacted positively every time. If they don't make it into the program, if they're not one of that 4, then they're still given resources throughout the program. So that looks like workshops, showcases, community engagement, and just everything else that we do. We actually just had a workshop last night that was so beautiful. We had one of our alumni of the program talk to about 30, an intimate group on purpose so that there could be conversation just like this one, but talk to 30 aspiring artists about how to connect with your audiences. And it went exceedingly well. So we do that, but a month prior in July, well, 2 months ago in July, we had, I think, about 140 people show up for a open to the public workshop. And that one was about, just branding and marketing. So we're always making things free, open to the public so that they can be impacted, even if they're not chosen to be in this accelerator. So the recruitment process is, enriching is not even the word. So like I said, we take in about 400 applications. We listen to all 3 song submissions that each of them gives us. And we really sit there and say, okay, where are they right now? What do they need? Is this program good for them? We offer office hours, so they have the opportunity to call us, email us, get feedback on their music. We do one-to-one recruitment, meaning I'll go out, before shutdown, I was able to go out into the public and go to shows and recruit these artists to apply to this program. We have local and national panelists who listen to this music, and it takes so much time. If you just do the simple math, that's about 1,200 songs to listen to. And we do it, because we don't want to not give anybody the fair shot that they deserve. So we listen to all this music very carefully. Then we break that down, that large 400, we break that down to a top 50. And then from 50, we go to 25, where we, it's so hard to talk about pre-COVID, but pre-COVID, we were able to do this in the studio. So this is 3 of the artists who are at that top 25 level. We brought them to a state-of-the-art studio and we give them 5 hours. And we're like, just make some music, create. And they come up with a song, and during that time, while they're making their music and while they're creating, we're observing them. We're wanting to find out, are they collaborative? Are they a team player? Are they overpowering the session, or are they enhancing it by working with everybody else? Did they get totally lost in the sauce and were not able to have their artist voice heard because they were just, too timid in the situation? All of those things we're looking at and evaluating. Then from there, we get down to a top 15, where we bring in some national level judges, like using our connections at Motown Records and Capitol Music Group. We bring in the vice presidents of A&R from Motown and the general manager of Motown to really just have a candid conversation with these artists to see where their heads are at. To see how they would plan to spend that $20,000 grant that they receive, and to see if their plans align, again, with what this program is aimed at doing. So that's where we really figure out, are you the right fit for us? And are we the right fit for you? And then we select our 4 final musicians. We bring them into the program. They get started immediately with a plan of how to spend that money. And then they start spending, and we start coaching them and giving them weekly 1-hour sessions, connecting them with music industry leaders in the hopes that all of these connections, all of this coaching, all of this mentoring will get their careers to the next level. We do look at metrics. So when they come into the program, we're noting how many Instagram followers, what their Spotify monthly followers are, what's the percentage of conversion from people who are liking their Instagram posts to listening to their Spotify singles. So we're looking at all these numbers, and we want to improve them, not only in that 12 short weeks that they're in the program, but as they exit, as they go out back into the world as artists having graduated from the program. So these are some of the judges that we've had. This is a small snapshot of it, but talent buyers, music directors for artists like Beyonce and Lady Gaga. That's Kern Brantley. He's also a native Detroiter. Senior National Director of Promotions at Republic Records. Top 40 songwriters who are also Grammy Award winning. Mark Exit Goodchild, he's a recording engineer who, when I was signed to Motown, back when I was, I'll just say the year, it was 2005. Back when I was signed to Motown, I recorded with this engineer. And when I used to write songs with Akon, he was always, you know, behind the computer pressing the button. So that was, you know, coming up on 20 years ago. And I'm still in touch with him and still able to reach out to him and get him to step in as a judge for this program that I'm now running in Detroit. As I mentioned, the VPs of A&R at Motown Records, G and Sean, managers from Rock Nation, directors of A&R from Downtown Records. So this is a snapshot of the type of people who we bring in to judge the artists and help us select our final four, and then also to participate in our workshops. So this picture is from Techtown, Detroit. This is where we would do our physical and in-person meetings. And this is kickoff. We overview Generator, the larger company that provides the programming. We give them financial resources. We have them meet with a financial advisor, an attorney to talk about getting their copyrights and trademarks in place, and then also healthcare resources just to make sure that they've got health insurance, you know, as artists. Then we have the $20,000 grant that we give to each musician, which can be spent on anything from studio sessions to equipment, travel, content creation. We don't keep any residuals, royalties, or revenue share of anything that the artists make during or after the program. So we have 3 phases, the first being the create phase, where as soon as we bring the artists into the program, those first 4 weeks of the program, we're encouraging them to get into the studio, do photo shoots, music videos, increase their online presence, which I love doing for the artists, develop a rollout strategy. Most people who come into the program have music ready to go. That's our ideal preference. That means when you get in, it's just a marketing game from there. So you've got great music. Now let's help you create content that supports that music, and also help you run ads and get in front of more faces. And, you know, marketing, that's the name of the game. A year ago, it was, you know, get your Spotify streams up. Now it's YouTube is up 30% last quarter. So now it's create long form content, because people are starting to get a little bit burned out on the TikTok stuff, the shorter things. So now fans are wanting to see longer content. So we're pivoting as things, you know, quickly change in the music industry. It's like, okay, let's shoot some longer video for YouTube. Let's chop that up, tease it on Instagram, but get them to YouTube so you get your subscribers over there. And then let's also plug you in with this marketing agency so that, you know, you spend a retainer with them monthly and they do all that back end work for you, so that as an artist, you don't have to think about that so much and you can more so focus on creating. So these are all of the things that happen during the create phase. And that's one of our 2019 alumni charity, as she was rolling out her single More Cake, and she's holding and eating a delicious looking cupcake. I would like some of that right now, actually. And then this is our connect phase. So here we're at Apple Music in California. We take the artists for 1 week each to New York and LA. This is our 2019 group of artists. They meet with the music industry. Literally, we go into the offices at Rock Nation, at Capitol, at Universal Music Publishing Group, at YouTube, at Spotify, and it's a dream come true for them, because these are just those unfathomable meetings that they can't get on their own. But between myself and our director in Cleveland and our director in Milwaukee, we use all of our connections to make these, you know, to unlock these doors for these artists and to get them into these rooms. During that connect phase, we go in, we have a 1 hour meeting roughly. That might be over lunch, or that might be in the person's office who we're meeting with. And the artists literally just get to talk very candidly with these people and get answers to the questions that they just can't find on Google, which is what a lot of artists end up doing. Like, how do I get this? How do I make this happen? So we literally get them in these offices with these high-powered music industry professionals. And then we connect them through email, and we encourage the artists to stay in touch with them. This is them building their music industry network, and in an industry that's completely based off of relationships. So we teach them, you know, this, you follow up within 4 hours, you know, say thank you after the meeting, send them new music, check in and see how things are going with them, direct them to a new Instagram campaign that you're rolling out. Even if they don't respond, we still encourage the artists to keep in touch with them. You never know, they may be talking about you in their circles, even though you don't know it. And hopefully these people will become mentors to the artists. So that's our connect phase. And Dre, let me know if I'm running too long on anything. Then we have the plan phase. So throughout the 12-week program, we're doing these one-on-one meetings every month. Every week for 1 hour. This is actually an artist from our Milwaukee program. And then we strategize the next 12 months of their career. So that's hard to do for an artist who's like, well, I'm going to put out this single and then see if it catches, and that'll let me know what I need to do from here. So that's kind of hard to do, but we do it. You know, we make a plan and we expect that it's going to change, but that it's good to have a plan anyway. And then as we have our post-program monthly phone calls with the artists, that plan that we created dictates what we talk about during those calls, and it helps us to know if they're on target for whatever that big goal is that we're working backward to achieve. And you know, we just focus on the next chapter. One really cool thing that we have in the program, this kicked off in Milwaukee. We did not get it in our first program, but we were able to, in Detroit, but we were able to bring it into the second program, and that is the mental health component, which is run by our licensed program therapist, Ami Betty. She's also based in Milwaukee, but we were able to do these sessions virtually this year. There's 10 sessions, and we're very careful to not call it group therapy, but it is an open group talk discussion based on the issues that are going to come up for artists in this modern world who are trying to pull it together every day and get their music out there. So there's a lot of barriers. And usually if you're an artist, you know, you're expressing yourself for a good reason. You know, there's something that has happened, or there's something that is really potent in your life, or something that is just so special about you that you don't have any other way to voice it other than through song. So that's usually the case with an artist, and we are able to provide this weekly 2-hour session for artists. And the topics this past summer were phenomenal. Ami is phenomenal. She is just the perfect person to be teaching this. Her background is in social justice, in dealing with people and people of color. So she's just the bomb, you know, when it comes to knowing what to say, how to bring it up. And sorry, that's one of the artists texting me right now. And she ran a great session. And all of us who participated, it was myself, our program intern, and the 4 artists, and our program manager in Milwaukee, you know, we all shed a layer definitely during those sessions. And many artists from the Milwaukee program have said, you know, the $20,000 is amazing. Meeting all these people in LA and New York was amazing. But those top group sessions, that was just really what cracked everything open for them and made it possible for them to be in touch with themselves enough to do all of these things to advance their careers. Then we have an end of program showcase. This is the really, really fun part where the artists get to get on stage and do their thing. That's one of our 2019 artists, Asante, who makes Afrobeat style music. And he had a couple dancers up there with him and a DJ. It was a very fun night. We went out a club in Detroit, and it's free and open to the public. And we just get people to come out and rock with us for a couple hours. And it's a celebration of, you know, not just the 4 artists, but look what's possible, basically. We also highlight what they were able to do during the program. We invite people from the Detroit music industry, and it's just a really good way to sum up the program, highlight our artists, what they were able to do, inspire the rest of the music community at large, and have a good time. And then we have our community-facing workshops, which generally are quarterly, but because of the shutdown, we had our last one in February and then didn't have another one until July, but the July one was a success, but they're becoming a little bit more frequent now as we close out this last quarter of the year. They feature industry experts. This picture is from the booking and touring workshop. We had the woman on the right, Ashley Eden from Live Nation, the gentleman in the middle, Charles Dunn from Muddy Water Group, who does booking out of Atlanta, Georgia, and then on the far left, Drake Pfeiffer, who does booking out of Detroit, Michigan. Beautiful events he throws and brings artists in the R&B and soul categories from all over the country, even international artists. So they were able to speak very candidly with the room. We open up for Q&A at the end. We also have a mixer afterwards where the attendees can speak with the panelists. And then we also have any panelists that we bring into town, we have them meet privately with our 4 artists who are in the accelerator. These have been some of our previous workshop participants, and the workshops are something that, you know, we're really looking to scale those because we do such a good job of it. And that's just to, you know, not to brag, but to really, you know, own that good work that we're doing. Artists love these workshops. The conversations, the gems that are dropped are just, you know, you wouldn't get this anywhere else. And the silver lining of being in the shutdown that we're in and being virtual is that we got so many yeses, like, sure, I'll do it. And people from all over the world. At our July workshop, we had Wyclef Jean's manager, Madeline Nelson. She was on. And she's talking, and then Wyclef just bombs the Zoom and jumps in and gives like some instant nuggets, you know, to the artists who were watching. That day, my Wi-Fi happened to be cutting in and out, so I missed half of it. I was so mad. But the artists had that experience, so that's just kind of like the energy of what we do. And as you can see, you know, we've had these people here, and from Roc Nation's in-house distributor, Equity Distribution Video, which does distribution in the music and video fields. And then we've also had Familiar Territory Records, Reach Records, Heads Music, The Syndicate, which is a marketing agency. So just lots and lots and lots of great people and great guests and companies that we try to bring in. And again, information that artists in Detroit with limited resources would not usually be able to get their hands on. So we pride ourselves on being able to supply that. Community engagement is huge for us. We encourage the artists when they get these big $20,000 grants, we encourage them to hire local videographers and photographers and graphic designers so that that money is going back into the community. That's basically what we try to do. And then this is just a small case study. This was from our last program, and now these numbers are just, you know, way out of here because we've had 8 artists now. So that 750% monthly Spotify listeners increase is, I haven't done the math, but it's much higher now because we have 4 new artists who've been able to do some of these same amazing things. So the numbers just keep adding up. And these logos on the right are some of the companies that we meet with when we go out to New York and when we go out to LA. Fender is great. Also, Roc Nation is really great. Like, this is Jay-Z's record label, and we get to walk through the halls, and, you know, it's very cool. And Audiomack is doing some amazing things with how they're able to use push notifications to target specific listeners so that artists can market their music directly to the fans that they want to start loving their music. William Morris Agency, one of the largest talent booking agencies in the world, we're able to get our artists to meet there. Also Tidal, YouTube Music, Instagram, like their offices are, you know, Facebook and Instagram, same offices. It's like a Google campus. It's real fun in there. So we're able to get our artists into those spaces. This is a little bit of a snapshot of our annual budget. This is what it takes to run the program. And it can change, it can be a little more, it can be a little less, but this is the gist of it and what it takes. It takes a lot, which is why we're so grateful to our sponsors and the people who help the program continue to run. And these are our lovely sponsors. So we're funded by American Family Institute for Corporate and Social Impact, based out of Wisconsin. A few individuals, the Esther Gordy Edwards Family Foundation, Skillman, Walker Miller Energy Services, Gretchen Nathan Davidson Foundation, Hassan Bazi, Microsoft, Joshua Griggs, and just recently MGM Grand Resort Foundation and the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan. And we're always, doing what we can to continue to make this program work and impact the community so that our sponsors continue to see value in it and continue to fund it. And for 2020 this year, I believe we're going to run a music tech program. If not this final quarter of the year, then definitely in 2021, talking to some corporations who are very interested in funding that. And we had the Motown Accelerator program and hoping to do the same for next year. And again, there's my email if you would like to talk to me in the future about anything. And that's the end of that deck. I don't know if I have time to do another one. Should we jump to questions? It's up to you.
Yeah, so we can jump to a couple questions. We have some audience questions coming in. Liz and I had some thoughts to put for that. If we have some time at the end, if there's something you'd like to, we can do that too. I think I can speak for everyone that's on this call with just like, wow, like this is amazing. This is such a phenomenal program. It is so obvious why you guys have received the accolades that you have. The attention to detail, I mean, the fact that you're just really thinking about all different dimensions of the artist, from their personal lives to the connections that they're building, giving back to the community. It's so holistic and beautiful. That's awesome. So one of the first questions I wanted to ask you was, so where do most musicians need the most help business-wise? So throughout this process that you're growing, where do you see there's gaps that sort of form a pattern that you notice that musicians specifically need help with this type of skill or that, or this knowledge base?
I would say they're admin and marketing. So most artists are, well, I won't say most, many artists are, making music at home, or they're getting the money together to go into the studio, and they're finishing the music and maybe getting it mixed and mastered and putting it out. They may not have gotten their publishing in order. They may not have registered with the agencies that would collect their royalties across the different, points in the world that play music. So they just don't have all of the business acumen that they need. And I don't blame them. Like when I was 19 and making music, I just wanted to sing. I wasn't thinking about the Harry Fox agency and sounds like I just wasn't, but we want artists to start thinking that way now. And it's kind of no excuse now because the information is so available, and you have apps on your phone that are like, we'll figure it out for you. Just give us $10 a month or something like that. So it's if you're serious about it, it's very possible to do it. So I would say definitely they need help with getting their business in order, responding to emails in a timely manner, like having their Google calendars set up, so they can take meetings and not miss them. I've had that happen so much. With artists who ask for my time, like, can you listen to my music? I set it at my calendar and I don't hear from them, like they don't accept the invitation and they don't show up. So they need to know how to do that kind of stuff. And then how to market their music. Like I said, they spend a lot of time laboring with it, and then they put it out and on their Instagram and say, my music's out, and less than 1,000 streams all time overall. So they don't know how to get people excited about it. But we just had a workshop last night letting artists know how to get people excited about your music. So and then we kept it intimate, like I said, but we'll make that recording available to everybody else. So we're providing this information that we know artists are lacking. And I would definitely say just business affairs in general, like trademarking their name if they're not using their government name. But even if they are, they still need to trademark that. And, just knowing about the business side of the music and then how to market the music.
And Sway, can I follow up on that? So when we work with entrepreneurs in the tech space and in other spaces, we often find that during that process, there's some sort of aha moment that they have. So what's the aha moment that you see with a lot of musicians? Is there like a process during all those one-to-one meetings and setting up their admin and doing the marketing? Is there some point where you see a shift in the way that they're relating to the business side of what they're working on?
No. I wish, but no. I think the shift is that they realize I need a manager. I think that's the shift, because they don't want to do it. Like some artists will do it. I don't want to bash artists because I'm one too, but I know I can speak of, it's kind of like nobody can talk about my parents but me, like nobody can talk badly about artists but me because I am one, but they don't want to do this stuff, but they realize the necessity of it once they see how not doing certain things is holding them back. So the aha moment is really, like, okay, realizing that they need help and that they do need to organize and that they do need to streamline some processes. So they're not trying to be in the studio for 8 hours and then figure out how to track down their royalties. So I think that's the aha moment that they're having lately, realizing that I need help and I need to, if I'm not going to get management help, then I need to get serious about this because I'm missing money, by not collecting royalties. And just kind of slowing down the progress overall. So I think that's it.
That's great. Thank you. Hans said in the chat, it's not an aha moment, it's a oh no moment, which I think maybe is right.
Oh no, I'm not making money.
Yeah.
I need to get my business together.
Yeah. Okay, so we're kind of gonna jump around a little bit because we want to stay like topic relevant. So one of our questions in the chat came from Sean Louis. Sean Louis, do you want me to ask it or you want to unmute yourself? Your first question about marketing spend. Okay, I'm just gonna ask it because I don't hear him. Okay, he said, can you talk about how much was the marketing budget daily spend of one of the 4 artists that you worked with through the accelerator? How much did an independent artist now budget for a release, single or otherwise? So pretty tactical.
Yeah, so just to answer the first part of that question, like really easily, $25 to $30 a day if you have it, that's gonna do something for you. But more important than that, what am I spending per day is what are you doing what else is there once they see that ad? So imagine if I'm on Instagram and I scroll and I see, pretty ad from an artist. I tap on it and the bio's not in order. I'm a little turned off by that. The aesthetic of the Instagram page is all over the place. I don't really get who you are as an artist. I tap the Linktree link in your bio and it's file broken. That doesn't take me to the page. I go to your Spotify and you have a single which is what you're promoting that led me here. And the last single you put out was 2 years ago. Not like those are the common mistakes that we're seeing from artists. So it's like spend that $25, $30 a day, if you have it. But more importantly, make sure that everything is in order. Make sure that link in bio is working so that when I tap it, I can easily subscribe to your YouTube. I can easily go to your Spotify page. I can easily like your artist page on Facebook. That's what we want to have in place. So if all those things are in place, then it's like, okay, spend this money per day. A tip is to do your ads through Facebook versus through Instagram. You have more control and flexibility. And then you can also do swipe up ads, which are better than directing them back to your profile, because then you're getting them to go straight to the platform that you want them to go to. So if you get them to your Spotify, you want to have like frequent releases, and Spotify shows the dates. So we'll see if you're an inactive or an active artist. So you want to have a July, let's say it's September 2020, September 2020 release, a July one, and a June one, a March one, you know, like you want to have so that when I finally find you and I click through to your links, it's like, oh, I'm late. Let me catch up. Let me, you know, be a part of this wave. But if we don't see the wave, it's like, well, okay, nice picture, but back to what I was doing, which was scrolling. So if you have less than 25 or 30 to spend a day, that's fine. Do what you can. If you have a budget for marketing, the bulk of it you want to spend on ads. So, but you also need your content to look really good. So that means friends, you know, that means getting creative. That means using sites like Canva and Fiverr so that you can gloss up your own content if you're doing a lot of it on your own. And then that also means being very strategic with the content that you can create if you don't have a huge marketing budget. Let's say you got $1,000, right? This is your marketing budget for this new single that you're getting ready to put out. You want to spend like $300 on the music and then maybe like $200 on your admin fees, getting it copyrighted and all this stuff. And then the remainder on ads and getting it in front of people's faces, and then even paying a playlister, you know, which is something that we don't like to talk about too much because it's pay for play, but it's happening. And it's like, look, who are we to fight the system? Like, you either cozy up to these playlisters, you find them and you DM them and you talk to them and you get to know them, or you get with an agency where you pay them, you know, a couple $100, maybe all of that $1,000, and they get your music on the playlists of people who are going to like it. But if you pay that fee, then you really need to make sure that everything else is in order, like I mentioned earlier, so that when they once they hear your song on this playlist and they like it, and they go back or add you to one of their playlists, or they click through your page, and if they see you're an inactive artist, you lose them so quickly. So it's like, you know, short answer, $20 to $30 a day. If you don't have that, then get very, very cool with your content. Look at the artists that you really like and love and emulate what they're doing. Not copy it, but, you know, like, okay, look at the length of it. Look at the camera angles that they're using. If you have an iPhone, like, you can really create some beautiful content. And if you have some apps from the App Store, you can make them look really, really good and you know, put yourself out there. But if you don't have that marketing budget, just, you know, we had the head of music at Instagram talk to our community once, and he said, you know, what they always say from Facebook and Instagram, and that's be consistent and be authentic. You can get a $15 tripod from Amazon with a cell phone attachment and take a dozen photos in different outfits and spread that content out over 2 or 3 weeks across your socials and connect it to your music, connect it to the lyrics in your song. And then now you're being consistent. So even if you don't have money to run ads, you're running ads by, you know, like staying in people's faces on their timelines.
Sean Louis, did you want to ask your second question? Introduce yourself and Black Renaissance, and just follow up with your second question you had. And then
okay, yeah. Hi, I'm Sean Louis. I'm an artist out in Tucson. I do run a collective called Black Renaissance. We highlight Black artists around Arizona. We do cool events with technology and talent. So anyways, my question for you is, Love Renaissance has been like really changing the game with their releases with, you know, Blacks and Summer Walker. One of the things I liked about Blacks when he first came out in the scene was that he released his 2 singles, and they jumped on a small opening tour, then released his EP, or his I think a couple songs more EP, and then jumped onto the Weeknd's opening tour, and then did his own tour, and then blew up. Is that model is I haven't seen that model before, and they did it so well, and the execution is pretty awesome. Is that the most effective way to capitalize on growth? Because a lot of their interviews, they talk about how they have a lot of money. So I know obviously music industry is based off relationships, but some of that stuff does cost money. And then is that one of the best ways to grow and do it quickly? They use the same model for Summer Walker as well. Is that something that what is your thoughts on what I just said?
Yeah, great question. I think that, with Summer, with Black, those connections definitely mean a lot. They have people on their teams who are super well connected in the industry. So it makes it I won't say easier, but they're able to make a phone call or send a text, and that really moves things along, which is why I said earlier that, oh no, or aha moment, I need a manager. At some point an artist has done all that they can do. So yeah, things definitely cost. As far as that being like the best way or the right way for growth, there's so many options, but what they did made a lot of sense, and Summer Walker, a great songwriter. So she's writing for artists. So she's able to leverage that, to get on a tour or to have her music promoted. Like, and when her management sends something to a playlist, it's not, here's this artist that you've never heard of, Summer Walker, but who has also written for all of these people. So that helps the process along. And then Black being connected behind the scenes with the artists he was featuring on those records with, and, writing for as well, then his management is able to leverage that. So it's relationships, it's leverage. And then a lot of artists are reinvesting that money, and they don't, because they don't want to look, like they don't have it going on social media. They don't show the grind, they don't show how they in March made $1,000 or, but reinvested that back into, being able to pay for that next step, but didn't, are living on the couch of a friend, and that's a lot of the times like what's going on. And then once they get super famous, they might, disclose it in an interview or something. But a lot of times what's happening is that, they're not making a lot of money, but they are reinvesting it. Or they have their business really in order, and they looked up and had some great single, and it generated, like 2, 3, 4, 5 million streams. And so they are getting some residual checks off of that. So it could be a lot of things, but I think mainly in those cases, it's likely the management connections and what those conversations that are happening behind the scenes to have them join these tours and then blow up. And now with that being not even a possibility, it's time to get into some other verticals and start, getting really creative with how you scale as an artist. So I would say pounding the pavement of social media, being consistent, being authentic, and then being creative with this virtual space that we have. I saw Liana La Havas a month or two ago do a concert, and she charged people $15 a ticket. And I was like, what? And it was sold out. It was beautifully shot. I'm like, well, not sold out on the line, but like well attended, and beautifully shot. And she had a concert. So you can do some virtual touring, but as far as getting on these tours, I don't think that's going to be happening again until like 2023. So in the meantime, it's like, do everything that you can do on social media. And that's bringing people into your world. Personality pieces go a long way, showing them this process of what you're doing, connecting with them, knowing yourself very, very well as an artist, so you can know like what's important to you, why you're making this music, and then giving that to your audience and hoping that they resonate with it, and continuing to find your audience. And then the growth is slow sometimes, unless you get a viral hit like one of our artists this year, Curtis Roach, had that Bored in the House thing go crazy viral. So unless that happens, just be prepared for the marathon. But aligning yourself with other artists, which is what you're talking about basically that they did, great way to introduce yourself to that artist's audience and vice versa. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
Oh my gosh, the Bored in the House guy? What?
Yeah, Curtis is the one who texted me while we were talking. So yeah, he's in our program, and he's a great guy.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
You had one final question?
Yeah, so Sway, I'm going to take us a little bit out of the tactics, because I think we can tell from our community there were tons of other great questions in the chat about other things that musicians can do, how we can build. So clearly we have an interest in our town for something like this. What are what's some advice you'd give to a community like ours to increase support for our artists or for a program like this? And then maybe on that same vein, what are some success metrics? I know Celeste asked a question of like, how do you get that $20,000 to do these grants? What are some success metrics that your funders and partners look for, so that those are things that we can start to have conversations about here?
Yeah, so for both of those questions, I think the answer is just community impact. You know, that is what we're most interested in. We know the story of Detroit. We know Motown. You know, it was, you could walk off of the streets into the houses on the boulevard, and if you had a great voice, or if you could write great songs, or if you could play a mean trombone, then you could become very successful, you know, and that went away. So one of the things we're trying to do is reestablish that infrastructure for artists and creatives in Detroit. And that takes community building, educating the community, giving them resources. And a lot of times, you know, not every artist needs $20,000. They're nowhere near that point yet. So it's the community facing workshops. It's the one-to-one office hours that are available. It's, you know, providing the resources for the community to advance themselves. And then I think my advice would be, you know, to reach out to them and ask, what do they need? You know, like a think group, or, you know, like a survey or something like that. What is it that you feel you need right now? What's your biggest challenge or barrier? And then that would let you or any other community know, well, this is what our artists need, because they'll be very vocal. They'll tell you, you know, like, I can't get this to happen, or every time I do this, this doesn't happen. So asking them, I think, one, is a great thing. And then as far as getting that financial commitment from sponsors, letting them know and showing proof that this is having a positive impact on the community.
Great. Okay. I think we have time for one more. And we always end Innovation Economics with this one question. What is your favorite story of entrepreneurial success? So that can either be around the accelerator itself. It could be one of your 4 artists. It could be just a different entrepreneur in your community. What's your favorite story of success, and what do you attribute that to?
Oof, I wasn't ready for that one. That's good. Well, one pops into my mind. It doesn't have anything to do with the accelerator artist, but I'm trying to think if I could think of one for the accelerator artists first.
You can use the other one. That's okay.
I want to use the other one just because it's just inspiring me so much lately. I'm a single mother, and I have a small network of women who also are. And one of them, she was a stylist. She is still, but she works for, I don't know if you've heard of this lipstick brand called the Lip Bar. They were featured on Shark Tank, and it was a negative experience for them. And then they went on to sell millions of dollars of product. Boom. So, and they're from Detroit. And so she does, I think, social media marketing for that company. But and I had a photo shoot in my living room years ago when I was doing my artist thing, and she came in and she styled me, and it looked amazing. And fast forward 10, 15 years later, she's doing that for the Lip Bar, but she's also started this line of earrings called Hoop Mob, like the big hoops. I didn't wear any today. I thought about it, but she started it I just went back in her Instagram feed. She started it in December of 2018, and her Instagram posts were getting like 15 and 18 likes, you know, somewhere in that range. And today in her stories, she was walking up to Best Buy, like with the camera bouncing, saying, I'm going to buy a computer for my first employee. And she last weekend had like 343 sales and showed us her, you know, Squarespace back end page. And when you talk about this entrepreneur thing, like this applies to music, this applies to the artists in the program, this applies to Jean-Louis' question. It's a marathon, you know, December 2018 to September 2020, and now orders are just coming in. She's got a new thing launched, a t-shirt coming tomorrow with some new earrings, and she found her niche, you know, like She's like, I'm going to sell hoop earrings. And what, like just one thing, like many styles of them, but one thing. And every time I go, the pair I want are sold out. So she's got orders coming in. She's got a new collection dropping tomorrow. She's a single mom. She's balancing this. She's going to buy her first laptop for her first employee. And that just has really, really inspired me this week. And that, I think that's my entrepreneurial success story that I'd like to share.
That's great. So tell us again the name, Sway.
Hoop Mob. Hoop Mob. HOOPMOB.
Hoop Mob. All right. Yeah.
Then, but I have to say this though. So bringing it back to Motown Accelerator, we had an artist last year, Charity, who, you know, just blew my socks off with her marketing chops and the content of her album. And she came in and knew exactly what she wanted to spend on what and where. And her trajectory and pace was incredible. And it was largely due in part to the grants and the advice and the connections that she got from the program. And by the time she rolled that album out, having used her grant to do singles and all this stuff, she had I think booked 12 coming up paid performances, you know, which is what we are an end goal result, but COVID kind of flipped that on its head. And she was out of here, you know, but her album release event was March 13th. And then everything just went down after that. And those performances got canceled and, you know, but had it not been for COVID, you know, she was just she used the program for what it should have been. She tried everything we wanted her to try. And she took off. Every artist had success, but she just really demonstrated for us wow, this model works and it's possible. So that's my non-program and my program response.
Two perfect answers. I love those. I'm sure both of them are going to see an uptick on social from Tucson.
Yes, and her name is @Charity, like you're donating to a charity.
Perfect. We'll check it out. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sway. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I know that we could talk to you literally all day. It has been amazing, so inspirational for our community. Thank you to all the artists that tuned on today. We really think we can get something started here, so we're happy to figure out how to do it together. In terms of Startup Tucson, we're doing another round of our Startup Fundamentals series. It's a very pared down version of basically the accelerator, but it's kind of a pre-seed accelerator, so it's really meant to get you started. So if you are looking at doing some of this stuff, validating your audiences, understanding your customers better, figuring out your initial marketing, it's all with Kanisha, our program manager, and the rest of our team, and we're starting the next round of that in October. Applications are open now. You can apply. It includes 2 weeks. There's an option to do a 2-month mentor sprint afterwards. So a lot of the stuff that Sway covered, we could do some of that in Startup Tucson, and we'd love to have you. So please reach out if you have any questions on any of that. We're doing a Q&A coming up soon, virtual Q&A. It's all virtual this time, again in October. We just finished one and graduated 10 entrepreneurs that are bringing really great new ideas to our community. So we'd love to have you involved. And with that, we will see you in a month for our next series of Innovation Economics and talk to you all soon. Thank you so much.